Oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? Well, check this out. It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. Seriously. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
This is an RNZ podcast.
It's that time of year when nail salons are doing roaring business. But actually, business is pretty good these days for most salons throughout the year. There's a boom in the industry world over, and here in New Zealand too, nail bars are mushrooming everywhere. Some stats on that. There are about 548 nail salons in New Zealand as of October this year, which is a 7% increase from last year. Now, I love getting my nails done. It can be a bit of an addiction, but I'll also admit I'm mostly willing to ignore certain ugly realities around the price of beauty. I hate being the killjoy, but it's a largely unregulated industry. While there are some local council regulations around health and safety, including the hygiene of instruments, the hours that most nail techs work can be grueling, bent over filing away at acrylic, often with no masks on. And nail salons are essentially full of all sorts of toxic volatile organic compounds, VOCs, and acrylic dust and fumes. Lots of them. I mean, you can tell when you're in a nail salon even if you walked in with your eyes closed.
Few minutes away, you already can smell that smell, that kind of scent. But here, we try to keep our salon like gel-only environment, so we don't have that kind of liquid. So that's how we try to keep our environment healthy.
That's Dinh, who runs House of Nails, along with her partner Tree in Christchurch. They chose to totally rid their salon of popular options like acrylic nails or SNS. We'll get into the details of what that all is very soon. Welcome to Here Now with me, Kadambri Raghukumar. Vietnamese-born Christchurch couple Tree Phung and Dinh have been trying to do things differently in the nail salon world, from more safe nail technology to disrupting the trend of intense work and low-paid hours nail techs put in, and the perception of it being a low-skilled job. But first, how did this young entrepreneur couple decide to dive into this hugely competitive industry in their mid-20s?
My name is Trey. I've been in New Zealand for 10 years, moved here from Vietnam to do my higher education. Did my Bachelor of Commerce in Auckland Uni and then moved down here in 2019. And then I joined Yi full-time, opening the salon in 2022.
How did the two of you meet?
We met in Auckland.
Yeah.
We were staying in the same building and we met actually quite randomly at the elevator.
Yeah.
And so we sort of got to know each other, and then she moved down here first to do her aged care degree, and then I got a job here working in startups. And
What was the first thing you noticed about her when you met her for the first time in the elevator? Her nails?
I don't think she got her nails done then. She was doing alterations, like clothing alteration. So and she thought that I was a client of her, and then she was going to start a conversation, and she was always kind of doing something to make money to support her study. Yeah.
And did you come here on your own as a student?
Yeah, I did. So it's just me. I don't have family in New Zealand at all. I finished high school and moved to Auckland about 7 years ago, so November 2017.
So how old
by
were
yourself?
you?
18. So finished high school in Vietnam and I moved to New Zealand.
So how did you then get into the nail business?
So up in Auckland, when I just got to Auckland, I just know that I needed a part-time job for, to support my study and my living. So I went around and see what I can do. In Vietnam, for Vietnamese community, we're quite well known for the nail. That a lot of Vietnamese people own nail salon.
Yep, their community has a strong hold over the business in several parts of the world now, thanks to American actress Tippi Hedren in California in the 70s, who trained a group of Vietnamese refugees as manicurists. They took to it so well that they ended up setting up their own businesses, and over the years the profession's become a bit of a trend across Vietnamese communities.
Before moving to New Zealand, I know how big the nail industry is for Vietnamese people. So my mom kind of told me to kind of go to a small academy in my hometown and learn a little bit about doing nails. I think that's also helped me get into the nail salon, because if I don't know anything at all, maybe it will be a bit difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you got this part-time job at Christmas, and then what happened?
Yeah, so it was quite difficult because there's just so much to learn every day, and I got into the most busy time of the year, which is pre-Christmas. A lot of like cuticle skin to cut, a lot of pedicure to do. I got so tired because my physical ability was just not there just yet. So it was really hard for me. A day I couldn't count how many pedicure I did.
Like many young trainees in nail bars, Nee did the hard yard, and after several years of working as a junior, she decided it was time to do things the way she thought they ought to be done.
Because I went through like things that I didn't like, or I feel like it was quite uncomfortable. It was quite difficult, so I want to create a better environment where other people can jump in and they can get the right training, which help them to get better at their job quickly, and the environment will be like nice to work at. We try to keep it at the work-life balance. We want them to be able to have at least 1 to 2 days off a week.
Is that not normal?
Normally, a lot of Vietnamese people, they work really hard. They want to earn money, so they normally would love to work 6 or 7 days. But I feel like myself before, when I worked that much, I feel like I just don't love the job that much anymore. I feel like it's just a task I need to do, and I don't have the love for it. So I feel like space them out, having it just 5 or 5.5 days of work is like a good balance, just so people still have the physical ability and they still have their life after work, outside of work. So this is one big thing as well, where when I was working before in the regular nail salon, we don't have like a fixed lunch break or like a break in between. It's always like whenever there's client, we work. Even if that, when it's lunchtime, a lot of people will come in to try get their nails done about half an hour for their lunch break. That's when we need to work. So it's quite difficult, quite hard on our body. But we're in here, we always, we structure the lunch break. Everyone got about 30 to 45 minutes for lunch.
What about the physical environment? I mean, that's quite a, things like the toxins, the fumes, and it's not a particularly healthy environment. And what are you trying to do differently when it comes to that?
Originally, a lot of people do like acrylic, where you can smell it. When people say about few minutes away, you already can smell that smell, that kind of scent. But here we try to keep our salon gel only environment. That's how we try to keep our environment healthy. We invested a lot of money into our HVAC system.
Yeah.
So all the dust that's flying in the air will get sucked up to the ceiling, and we do have the fan on the table. So that's like a vacuum that sits on the table. So as we e-file or we file the dust, it will go in there. So we try, and then everyone wear their mask. We try to keep the environment as clean as possible.
Yeah. We used to dip powder, but we also decide to remove the service entirely because there's so much dust. And a couple of our staff got quite allergic to SNS and dip powder, so we decided to remove that.
In case you're wondering, SNS stands for Signature Nail Systems and essentially is acrylic powder mixed with powdered glue, which is applied with sealers and bonders. Some pretty heavy-duty stuff on your digits there. But what's trending these days is Build-A-Gel.
This is some pretty big decisions though, right? When you choose to get rid of services like SNS or you don't do acrylic, those are some pretty big business calls because a lot of people still come in and probably ask you for the same services.
Yeah. So I think we're pretty lucky to live in this world now where the technology, everything is just more advanced and they always seek for the better.
It's hard to keep up with the pace at which new trending nail products hit the market, but while it's practically impossible to have a nail salon that's totally toxic chemical-free, Tree and Nee are doing what they can. I'm walking around their salon and I can say it's unusually odorless. And yes, the nail techs are busy. There's a client on every station here.
I think we're surprised by the advice that the HVAC consultant gave us when they recommended just how much to invest in the HVAC system. But then we sort of realized that, that's actually necessary given the amount of dust and the potential number of clients that we get. And so we understood that, if that's what it takes, then we just have to invest. Yeah.
So both of you have been working together for a few years now. How much about nails have you learned, and can you actually do a manicure?
I can't.
No, I thought you'd be a pro by now.
Yeah.
I taught him, but he gave up.
After about 2 hours.
I think he's great doing other stuff than nails, so I'm happy for him to stay where he is. Yeah.
But I've learned a lot, and it's actually very interesting. I never thought that I would be so passionate about this industry, but
is there quite a large Vietnamese community here, and are there quite a lot of nail salons here?
Yeah, there are quite a lot. Quite a few that's just opening up as well, which is, I don't know how a lot of salons are actually, hanging on, but a lot of salons have cut the price drastically to the point where we just don't know how they make a break even.
It's a very competitive environment, isn't it?
It is, and
there are no regulations. And when do you think that's going to change? How do you sort of see that panning out in the next few years?
Yeah, I hope that if there is regulation, it makes sense. There are a lot of, potential rules and things that might not make sense for the business, for the staff. But I think there are definitely hygienic and health and safety measures that will need to be put in place with things like alcohol, acetone, those are easily inflammable substances, and also with chemicals and ventilations and things. We've seen some places, we're not going to name names, but the ventilation, is so bad that some clients, they faint in the salon. Staff could be working 10, 11 hours a day there. So I guess in a sense there are things that could change, but I think the regulation would sort of have to address those issues rather than putting more red tapes that businesses have to jump through. There could also be more, I guess, measures in terms of the skill supply side. At the moment, we see a very wide range of skill level across the market. In some sense, if there's sort of a structure or some sort of ways to recognize the people who've been properly trained, and that would make it a lot easier for us to go out and hire people. And if they get that license or certificate, then we know 90% of the time that we're getting the right people.
Phung and Dinh of House of Nails chatting about what needs to be done differently in the business of nail salons, from standardizing the skills of nail techs to the health and safety of both nail techs and clients. And yep, it's also down to being conscious as consumers about the choices we make when it comes to the beauty industry, just to make sure that the price we pay for those polished tips isn't too hefty. I'm Kadambari Raghukumar, and every week I bring you a story from around New Zealand featuring people from around the world who live here. Follow the Here Now podcast on all your favourite podcast platforms for more stories like this. My name is Kadambari Raghukumar.
What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost. Their designer quality frames start at $95, including prescription lenses, plus scratch-resistant, smudge-resistant, and anti-reflective coatings, and UV protection, and free adjustments for life. To find your next pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to find the Warby Parker store nearest you, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.